rise up higher, reach for the sky, hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the arc, get ready to fight for your life. We rise up, climb on, choose the highest ground off the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you high, 'cause we are the kings, we are the queens. We will rise up to the top. Stand up, don't draw in the dust. The land of the sand knows the answer in your head. Hold tight, it's worth the try. Chasing for the glory in the fight. Don't run, you're the one. Bring all your dreams to the glorious kingdom. Are you hearing the voice of Seth call your name? Lost in the storm, hold your face and sword. Go fight a secret, I win this war. We rise up higher, reach for the sky, hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the arc, get ready to fight for your life. We rise up, climb on, choose the highest ground off the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you high, 'cause we are the kings, we are the queens. We will rise up to the top. Even when you fall, sticks and stones may break your bones, but you are stronger than the heaviest waves. The earthquake won't shake you, 'cause you are the king, you are the queen, you are the truth of the land. You rise up higher, reach for the sky, hold on to your weapons with pride. You rise up higher, conquer the arc, get ready to fight for your life. You rise up, climb to the highest ground off the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you high, 'cause you are the king, you are the queen. You will rise up to the top. Stand up, don't drown in the dust. The land of the sand wants a prize on your hand. Hold tight, don't lose your way. Chasing for the glory to the end. Don't run, be the one. Bring all your dreams to the glorious kingdom. Are you hearing the voice of Seth call your name? Lost in the storm, hold your face and sword. Go fight a secret, I win this war. We rise up higher, reach for the sky, hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the arc, get ready to fight for your life. We rise up, climb on, choose the highest ground off the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you high, 'cause we are the kings, we are the queens. We will rise up to the top. Stand up, don't draw in the dust. The land of the sand knows the answer in your head. Hold tight, it's worth the try. Chasing for the glory in the fight. Don't run, you're the one. Bring all your dreams to the glorious kingdom. Are you hearing the voice of Seth call your name? Lost in the storm, hold your face and sword. Go fight a secret, I win this war. We rise up higher, reach for the sky, hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the arc, get ready to fight for your life. We rise up, climb on, choose the highest ground off the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you high, 'cause The earthquake won't shake you, 'cause you are the king, you are the queen, you are the truth of the land. You rise up higher, reach for the sky, hold on to your weapons with pride. You rise up higher, conquer the ark, get ready to fight for your life. You rise up, climb to the highest ground of the pyramid of life. Let the spirit get you high, 'cause you are the king, you are the queen.
Welcome, everyone, to this Sunday's match, JST versus PX34. I am your host, Dragothian here. I will be joined shortly by one Bulburitos, and we're going to have ourselves a fantastic cast today. We're looking forward to seeing JST, a prior champion, take out, or take on, I should say, PX34, also a prior champion. Before we do that, though, okay, so first off, thank you all for joining us, and we're looking forward to putting this cast in front of you. If you haven't done so, hit that like button on this stream, tell your friends, share it out there on the social medias. Let's make sure that we get everybody in here that we can, because this is going to be a very lit match. I want to jump into the game first off to highlight a few things. Then I'm going to bring my boy Bulburitos in, and we're going to go ahead and break down what you can expect to see in this match. So let's go ahead and jump into the game very quickly. I want to showcase first off the league bets. The bets are heavily in favor of JST right now. 57 million on the betting pool for JST versus 8.2 million for PX34. So looking very strong on the JST front. People are very much favoriting our JST team here. Now, a couple other things that I want to highlight. This is the first week that we have elimination matches. So when we go to the schedule here, you have on the left side here, OV versus Song, which is going to be our 15 UTC match. Chiscool will be hosting that one, and I will also be joining you on there. We also have IO2I versus TR. That's happening right now in conjunction with JST versus PX34. We also have Peak battling 84DL. Now, whoever wins this match, JST or PX34, will go on to face the winner of Peak versus 84DL. This is a one and done. Go home or stay in the match, win or die. All right, so that's going to be something that's going to be on the minds of all the players on this match. One other thing I wanted to showcase before I bring Bulburitos in, actually two things. The rules. Okay, so let's look at the rules really quick, because we have a little bit of a change from the last week. If we go to Commander Rules, you should see we have ourselves a nice little additional commander selection available. You have yourself a Bertrand, and you also have Alexander Nevsky. Nevsky has proven through some rally reports that have been out there since he just came out this week to be a solid contender. He is going to be a difference maker in these playoffs going forward. Who has maxed him? Who has gone ahead and jumped ahead, did the one set of wheel spins and maxed them with their universal sculptures? We're going to see who does that. And then finally, I wanted to highlight a couple things on the league stats. If you haven't looked at the league stats yet, just take a peek at it. The data is amazing to look at and kind of dig into. If you want to see who your favorite realms are using, your favorite teams are using inside of this system, this is the place to go and do it at. Want to focus on a couple things that I really want to show you. First off, rally. Your primary rally out there is going to be Gilgan Nebu. You've also got your XY Chandra. You also have your Pakal Herald. That makes sense. That's a whole lot of sense, right? That's your norm. That's your standard go-to. Garrison, however, you have Xeno YSS being your primary, but look at Guan Alex sneaking in there at the number 2 spot for your Garrison. Now, why is that, right? Well, there's a lot of swarming going on whenever you're attacking those forward structures, right? So a lot of chances are going to be that you're going to have that March go into the structure as a garrison leader, quote unquote. Then you got your XY Williams, same thing, and then you finally get to Jadwiga YSS. You know what? You want to see who's the first in field battles, though? Juan Alex is number 1 pairing on the field for the realm of Horus. This obviously changes as you go through the different realms, although Guan Alex features very prominently in all the top 3 realms because, I mean, it's a solid match, right? Well, let's go ahead and jump out of the game. Let's get Bulbaritos in here. I want to get his take on what we're about to see. I also want to know what we're going to be looking forward to, any type of strategy changes, things like that. So, Bulbaritos, thank you for joining me. So glad to have you here. I'm glad to be here. We've seen some nice little stats in there I wanted to highlight. We also have, again, some really cool things going on in the game. Tell me what you're looking forward to in this match. We have JST versus PX34, prior champions. We couldn't skip these guys. We had to show it, right? So tell me what you got going on.
So first off, storylines are real in this match. We both know, we've been chatting about it all week. You got two actual champions that won their respective realms last season. On one hand, from the Anubis realm that is now in the Horus realm, you got PX34 representing as a champion from last season, and then we all know the proven commodity JST coming out of the Horus realm, winning that realm last season. So what I was noticing, and I do love the commander selections. It's going to be very interesting. I would love, in a second, to hear kind of what your thoughts are going to be on Nevsky. I know we keep seeing that, but Bert is kind of the unknown commodity for the first opportunity at reset, when people could start running and testing and doing all that kind of stuff. But what I was looking at is when I went into the stats, if you go to Alliance and then you click on the little arrow to the right of the Alliance, you will see what skills they utilize the most. And it is very interesting. They are exactly almost polar opposites of what they use. They do use your traditional hard push, war drums, and your mystical, but JST uses more to the death. And on the opposite, you will see that PX34 actually use more Heaven's Grace than they do to the death. So they're almost counters to one another. It's going to be very interesting to see if they switch it up, if they keep it the same, and what how this match is going to kind of unfold.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I didn't even notice that. So something to highlight for sure. In the league stats that I just showed you, if you go all the way to the right tab on the Alliance tab, all the alliances that are still and have been in this system are listed there. And if you select that alliance, like you said, it will show you a ton of information, probably way more than the alliances that are in this system want to show. It does show all the skills, like you said, which is critical. I mean, that's kind of like an identity of the alliance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a huge deal. And certainly, I mean, wow. I mean, I don't know if I want to show that. So, so here we go. Right. So what are my thoughts here? I mean, again, these are 2 prior champions. I think PX34's prior champion being a Realm of Anubis winner last season, JST winning, of course, last season as well for the Realm of Horus. I'm really looking forward to seeing these 2 champion team strategies collide. Now, who's more up to date? Who's using the latest commanders? Who's got the most VIP 18 players? Who practices more? I mean, really, it's just going to come down to that, I think. PX34, again, being an old HKL team who also was a winner in Season 2, I believe, is when it was. Defeating either JWM or OV. I can't remember. It's been quite a few seasons. So that being said, I mean, we're looking at 2 championship teams. When we saw this, there's tons of other matches that looked really, really juicy, evenly bet. Both the teams have performed really, really well throughout the playoffs. But when we saw 2 championship teams going against each other, we had to bring that storyline to you. Now, what am I expecting? I think is the question that you ultimately asked me there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really looking forward to seeing JST do something different. I mean, are they a machine? Are they really? I mean, are they a robot? I mean, is that what they do? They literally just go, okay, this is step 1, step 2, step 3, and then by the end of their instructions that they've been given on their list, they have a victory. That's usually like the blueprint. I need to see PX34 do some critical moves here. I want to see PX34 do something to make a difference, because if they just let JST do their thing, there's a very good chance that JST is going to win. The match is starting. Let's go ahead and jump into the game itself. I've got the combatants coming up right now. Looking forward to seeing these two teams battle it out. We've got your standard JST team here with the 15 backups. Curious to see if we see any of those backups enter the match. Again, this is elimination time, folks. So we're talking do or die, win or go home. If you lose this week, you are gone. Key combatants for JST, we have a kill score of 334,000 points. My goodness. 1,200 Arc of Osiris score there. And then on the PX34 side, we've got occupation scores, provision scores of 12,970. That's very strong. And then another kill score from RV Kill of 140,894. There's the trophy that these fine players are playing for. And here is the breakdown. C9N losing to JST last week. We also had 64RL absolutely get decimated. Then we've got PX34 just edging out 93T, the Toxic Tigers, and also taking out SK57, but losing to Na'Vi. 1 minute left until this battle goes. Let's look at the different sides here. I see JST starting to pour it in, Bulba. We've got 3 full rows. Here comes the final incoming wave, it looks like, on their 5th row going back. Actually, 6th row going back. My goodness. Same thing looking for PX34, Bulba. We got 45 seconds until this match. Do you foresee any shenanigans at the very beginning? Is there any shenanigans to really even be had? And then when do you think that PX34 might make an adjustment in this match?
Well, what I can tell you is that some of these players were formerly, like you said, from HKL. They were known for their adjustments, and I suspect you're gonna try to bring something different. So I know last week we saw a tremendous amount of Ethels. I know we were commenting on it. There could be a different change with Nevskis out there. There could be Berts that might pop. Anything that you're going to see, both of these teams, I promise you have tested it. So it's going to be very interesting to see on the break off just exactly what combos they use. But probably the biggest thing for me is going to be paying attention to the rotations to mid.
Yeah, that's a great point. And really that kind of has dictated, with the exception of maybe the 60MX match that we saw, where they just kind of went in whenever they pleased and still ended up winning the middle more often than not. You really got to make sure that you're focusing on when that timing is, because timing really does tend to be everything on that middle transition. Trying to put your opponent on the outsides of the lane so that they have a harder time or a longer time getting into the middle. You see a ton of marches coming out right now off the gate for both teams here. Tons of siege going out on the PX34 side as well. So it looks like provisioning will be a major point of emphasis for PX34. Same thing for JST, though. I see quite a few nice siege marches going out, led by Joan on 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Yes, that's 5 Joan marches rolling out. Hard push being used by PX34 here. Hard push also being used by JST. We've got 2 outposts on each side being taken. Let's see who ends up taking these obelisks first.
Now, what I am noticing from PX is they did switch it up just a little bit on their march composition. So I am seeing a ton of Guans coming out right off the rip, which tells me one of two things. Either they're going to be a little bit more defensive and try to counter the cav they're going to be coming, or they're just going for that hard silence. And we see that all the time in middle. It's usually not seen on the outside, just because you're trying to get pretty fast forward on the field. So we're going to see how that's going to kind of work out for them.
Yeah, that's a great point to bring up. And again, really looking to see with the new addition of Nevsky and of Bertrand, who is going to be used more often, if they're going to be really added into the mix here. I do see right off the bat a Nevsky already on the field from PX34 as a secondary to an XY. So that's usually the standard combo, although I've seen a lot of Chandra Nevskys out there. I've seen Mina Nevsky out there on the field in regular play. Looking to see if both of those, especially with the new museum buffs, bringing Minna back into the relevance here. I mean, he was already kind of relevant, but with the new museum buffs, he has been an exceptional addition to any Cav player out there. And again, looking forward to seeing how these things play out. We have some people going to the mid already for PX34 crossing the map. Maybe those are your outpost reinforcements or outpost harassers. We've got some provisioners killers maybe. It looks like it's just one individual memory from PX34 bringing 4 of his marches. Take that back, 5, although that Nebu is way behind.
And right now I'm paying attention on JST on the bottom side. You see this break off that happens with a lot of these teams, a lot of these top tier teams where it's just Cav, a lot of XYs. But I am seeing quite a few Nevskys getting sprinkled in here along with Saladins and your slower Guans towards the tail end. Not as many Ethels from this side, but we are going to see how Nevsky kind of holds up when it comes to either, because they are pushing on their opponent's side of the field. So seeing how, if they don't get first occupation, if they can swarm it down, how it's going to be and how effective it's going to be in the upcoming match.
Yeah, JST is cutting in hard at this Desert Altar on the PX34 Desert Altar side. On the bottom lane here, they're trying to get in between all of these PX34 marches and this Desert Altar, which opens up in 80 seconds. So it's going to be a little bit of time. It's interesting to see if they're going to be able to maintain the field presence they need to try and ninja this Desert Altar, and not only ninja it, but also keep it for that first occupation score, which does give you an extra 750 points for your team. And if you can take that away from your opponent, it's not only 750 points that you're denying your opponent, but you're also receiving that. So really, effectively, it is a 1,500 point swap in your favor for each Desert Altar that you do that to. So really looking forward to seeing who we do see take these structures in just 45 seconds or so. Same thing happening on the other side, although PX34 looks to be a little bit behind where JST is. A lot of fast marches coming, mostly Cav, a couple of, oh my goodness, there's a Honda out on the field there as well. And I've seen some decent Honda reports too. Top lane looks like this XY is just trying to get his troops back. I saw it blinking. I thought maybe they kept the rally going and they're trying to do some crazy things, but teleports have happened. Let's look at this bottom Desert Altar ball, but tell me what you're looking at.
So one thing you did capture it, and I didn't want to cut you off because you were doing so good. The JST did do, and if you'll notice it, the one march that they focused from the side of PX34 was their garrison. So Zenobia was that first sad face that you saw, and that's a top-notch strategy that you definitely want to incorporate, because now guess what? Now they are garrisoning that Desert Altar with an Ethel that just got absolutely wrecked because the Zenobia was no longer there. So you're seeing it flip on the side of JST. It's all blue right there on that bottom side, and it started off with taking out that Zenobia. So the map does look fairly evenly split, except for the altars, which we see JST holding 3 currently.
Yeah, PX34 did end up just taking that back just as soon as you said that. However, on the bottom lane, that Shrine of Life has absolutely been ignored. I mean, there's a what is that? Is that a Matilda? That's a Matilda. Just finally going ahead and casually grabbing that Shrine of Life. Nobody's over there. They don't even care. Now, I will say PX34 did a fantastic job of taking that structure back, because I thought for sure with the presence that JST had on this bottom lane Desert Altar that they would not only take it, but they would hold it. Now they do have it again, resetting that timer again. More streaming in though, right?
I don't want to interrupt you, but this bottom side obelisk is getting rallied by XY Nevsky on this Amani, and they are absolutely doing work on this obelisk. So
wow.
you're seeing these marches getting pulled so hard right now because the rally is tanking, and it's still taking out Amani, and it's just looking filthy right now. This is the first that I've seen of the rally, and Amani's just, even with the swarm, is still tanking with that new Nevsky combo.
Wow. Now, I will say, so unless you're swarming with this Nevsky rally, You know, something to think about. Nevsky's primary skill, right? It does a defense debuff, but it's kind of contingent on having a swarm on that target. It needs to be surrounded. Having an obelisk rally, obviously, with Nevsky, it's a little bit difficult to do that, obviously, because it's all the way down the field. Now, that being said, looks like PX34 had to focus a little bit on that, and now a minute remains on this Desert Altar on the bottom lane, and JST looks to have it very well held and secured. In fact, there's nobody from PX34 on this bottom lane Desert Altar for PX34 around, and they're already going to the middle. I mean, they've secured it. They're going to the middle. They're going to grab those points. Right now, it's even within 6 points right now, but that's going to change here very shortly, within about 30 seconds.
Yeah, and right now we're watching the rotation, and this is coming the smooth rotations that have become kind of a part of JST's strategy. They've become synonymous with it. At 5 minutes rotating already, they know they're going to steal this first occupation. And if you're PX34, you're kind of waiting for them to rotate to potentially neutralize this Desert Altar before you rotate in. And they'll probably be coming in late, but JST have arrived to the party. They are the first ones in middle with 4 minutes before the arc spawns.
The Sky Altar's under assault, but JST has it well in hand on the bottom lane. We do have the Shrine of Life again that has a current Nevsky garrison against a single march, though, only from JST, so this will likely stay in the hands of PX34, but that Desert Altar is going to be a game changer. JST has peeled away from it now that they have taken the first occupation score, and as you can see, 4,200 points versus 3,300 points, and not only that, but points per minute wise, 740 points per minute versus 440 points per minute in favor of JST, and the middle is looking a little bluer than red, but still not that much different.
No, and I'm watching from the top side right now on the Desert Altar, watching them rotate for JST. You're seeing PX34 trying to kind of catch them off guard with these red marches just to kill them off in order to rotate fresh ones to the middle. But JST are currently holding 3 out of 4 altars, and they do have a Zenobia in this bottom side Desert Altar. And oh man, you really don't want to go rotating in middle with 3 out of 4 being owned by your opponent. So we're seeing blinking on all sorts of structures right now. We're seeing XY on the top side Sky Altar, XY Nevsky, and he's just melting right now. And so we are seeing the effects of having Nevsky make an appearance. We are seeing nothing but XY Nevskys on all garrison types, whether it's Jadwiga, Amani, Zenobia. So it is playing a crucial part into this match.
Yeah, I also see a swarming march of Salad and Honda, which is not as bad as you might, I don't know, initially think. This Shrine of Life on the bottom lane looking secure for PX34. Also PX34 finally taking back their Desert Altar on the bottom lane and securing it 30 seconds. However, this middle is starting to heat up, Bulba. I already see some skirmishes happening. There's no balls of troops just kind of sitting there staring at each other. They're tapping, they're touching hands, they're throwing elbows already. Now it's starting to normalize out. Now that some folks are saying, hey, maybe we should stay on our side and maybe not lose a march or two. That might be the difference in this kind of a matchup.
Yeah, it's very impressive how PX have regrouped in order to form these amount of numbers in the middle. They did also take back the altar on the bottom side as well. So right now they haven't taken over the points per minute. We are actually tied 590 and 590, getting ready to rumble in the middle. It's going to be very interesting, like we were talking before the match, to see what skills are going to get popped on each respective side. And right now we're watching JST approach PX. Let's see if they're going to try to bait out some skills. They become known for that as well. They attack you, you pop your skills, and they run back and then they reapproach. So, but there is no retreat right now. They are going full throttle into the PX murder ball. And man, let's see how this goes.
Yeah, while this was happening too, I took a quick peek down at the Shrine of Life on the bottom side for PX34. Had a Bertrand rally on it as well. Here come the skills, Bulba. We've got Mystical Formation. We got War Drums being popped as well. So it looks like JST popped War Drums and PX34 popped both War Drums and Mystical Formation. So Mystical Formation not being used currently by JST. If I zoom out just a smidge, it's looking fairly even, although I do see PX34 marches going back a little more quickly than are the JST ones, but more reinforcements coming in from both sides. We've got Trajans coming in from PX34, whereas we have Guans coming in and Saladins coming in for JST.
Now, it is a very interesting insight that I'm seeing right now. So, on the side of PX34, they went more of the AoE route, right? You're seeing a ton of archers out there. You're seeing Amanis out there. You're seeing Ethels. You're seeing, you are seeing some Guans sprinkled in, but they went more of the AoE tanky, route. And then you see on the side of JST, it's your usual, your XYs, your Guans, your Ethels, that has been doing really, really well. So, it's going to be very interesting to see who survives this. PX34 are holding up fairly well and do have the arc and are running it.
They're bolting. And I will say, too, there was a point during that fight where just the tables turned. PX just started absolutely annihilating the open field marches. You can see JST just streaming sad faces back over and over and over again. And PX34 kind of holding their own. That might be the difference. It looks like they, again, still have Mystical Formation active and rolling, although JST now has the arc, drops it, but did have it there for just a moment. PX34 looks like they're starting to own the field, though. Less and less blue marches on the field. JST is starting to get whittled down, and I will say this, too. PX34, at least for the moment, has held their structures during this whole thing. I know they lost the Shrine of Life on the bottom lane for a moment during this initial fight. The Sky Altar on the top lane going down as I'm talking. This middle fight looks to be pretty well secured for PX34, though. That's 3,000 points heading back towards that red team side. And we do have an altar down on their team, but there is a swarm already on it, and it is an XY garrison. So I look to see that PX34 altar go down back in favor of them. The points per minute, though, tells a different story. 560 points per minute for JST versus 360 for PX34. Pretty solid, Bulba, don't you think?
Yeah, guys, if y'all were to tell me that PX were going to win mid against JST, I would have been shocked. They have the ability to take an arc, right, from any team. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do with it, because the importance isn't necessarily the points, because the points do help. They are down by 1,500. This arc's worth 3,000. But really, the name of the game is your ability to control the pacing of the match. If you want to hold this guy forever and make this a 2-arc map, you can. If you want to capture it and catch your opponent off guard, having to rotate at awkward timing, you can. You will be able to dictate the pace of this match. And right now, JST are doing what they need to do. They're pushing forward, pushing the envelope on this top side Sky Altar. You see all these marches pushing forward to reinforce this garrison.
And now they've got a Jadwiga in there. I highlighted that garrison player coming in, and now there's a Xeno as well. I mean, they have a plethora of riches here. Now, I will say they did a great job bringing a lot of cav. They used Speedy March Cav. Even Saladin has a little bit of extra speed to him. You've also got some archers coming in here, some more Cav, some mixed troops with Honda. This is an impressive display of keeping a structure while also losing in the middle. Wasn't as defeated, because now we're talking almost a 2,000 point difference. Points per minute, again, heavily in favor now, having captured that Sky Altar. Now 710 points per minute versus 440 against PX34. This is a huge stand for JST. This is going to minimize that loss in the middle significantly. This is going to give them another, 600, 700, 800 points?
The confidence is real with PX34. Them capturing that, they insta-captured that arc. They didn't hold it 1 second longer than they needed to. The rotations are going to be very awkward, because on the bottom, or at least on the side for JST, and I think that's their attempt, is to catch them on the aggression, having to rotate mid with those half-dead marches. And you're seeing PX on the bottom side swarming the Shrine of War with all these red marches. They're going to line up perfectly with the timing of having to rotate middle with fresh ones. So this is what we were referring to. Yes, they are losing on the structure game right now, but if you time it right, they're going to catch them off on some very awkward timing, having to rotate middle in about 2 minutes.
And JST really pushing hard on these structures, focusing on the Desert Altar now on the bottom lane. PX34 may lose this. It does have a Zenobia in the garrison, but JST really pushing hard on the swarm here with a rally from XY, likely Nevsky as well. This Zenobia is looking a little rough. It's red, but PX34 is well reinforcing. If they can do some really good swapping of the garrison holders, they'll be in good shape. Now that Sky Altar on the top lane continuing to get more and more JST reinforcements. There is PX34 here trying to take it back, but it's only single marches. They're waiting for a rally to come in from PX34 to be able to try and take the Sky Altar back. And with Jadwiga YSS, looks like the Jadwiga YSS hopped out there for a second for some reason. Now it's a Nebu garrison. That actually could be devastating for JST there. But right now, again, now they have all 4 altars. Look at this. They have the Desert Altar on both sides. They've got the Sky Altar on both sides. This is exactly what PX34 does not want, because they did get that bonus with that first arc, but that lead that they generated from capturing it as quickly as they did is quickly dwindling. Looking at the points per minute, huge 510 points per minute in favor of JST. It's a huge delta. Every minute that the map looks like this, you're going to see it's already a 300-point game. PX34 having another minute, and now JST will be winning. So this is a huge deal. PX34 has to get their structures back. They need to get them back now with 5 minutes 40 seconds until this arc spawns. And JST from the top lane is already coming into the middle, Bubba.
Ooh. And we're seeing Mystical Formation getting popped on the side of JST and Hard Push on the side. It's very interesting coming into the second arc. So they're already popping some skills before we even get to the second one, which is usually when you start seeing To the Death, Heaven's Grace, you start seeing those big skills getting used. But we just saw it. JST are taking over these altars, forcing PX to have to come back and focus on these structures before rotating. But we're going to find out whether PX is going to focus on taking these altars down, because those point generations are, the point generation for holding 4 altars is huge. And right now, it's coming all down to arc, and JST are already in the middle with 5 minutes like clockwork.
Yeah, they've definitely peeled off from the aggression on the altars, and in fact, losing a Shrine of War on the bottom lane too was JST. And PX34 does have a garrison in there with Xeno and YSS now, so that's different than what was originally there. That was a Herald Pakal sitting in there, which was likely just the rally that had it itself. But swarming is JST. This Xeno is looking very stout. Nope, that's the Xeno Theo that I just saw was actually swarming the Zenobia YSS that is in the actual garrison. So this is very interesting to watch. Xeno versus Xeno, with their other ones obviously swarming as well. This could impact a little bit of the middle presence with 4 minutes left until the arc spawns. JST, Peroro, Cal, and Save, and another player as well, is also sitting here swarming this structure. Those are bigger players for JST. In fact, most of them are frontline players. They're already going to the middle with those marches too. A couple of them half health, a couple of them 3/4 health. It doesn't look too bad, to be honest with you. I think the ones that hit the worst were the ones that are already going back to their city. So looking very strong in the middle for JST, though. JST is looking like they have a very solid position. If I can actually get to where I want to go on the screen. And, I mean, PX34 is behind. They're not only behind going to the middle, but they're behind, by a lot, points-wise.
And I do like what they're doing right now. They're resetting, because you can't go. The one thing that you can't afford to do is you can't afford to rotate middle, allow them to have all 4 altars, and then if you do so happen to lose the arc, you can't have that double dip. So what they did was they did focus on the reset. They did retake 2 of their altars back. You should see the rotation coming in. I am watching it right now from the top side as they rotate in, and they're pushing on this desert altar top side.
Looks like PX34 is going structure. Big time.
And you're seeing it's pulling the marches from JST right now from middle, and JST, they rotated almost all of their marches out from middle with almost 3 minutes left before it spawns. So it's going to be very interesting. If PX can rotate with some numbers, they still might be able to pull this. So I'm looking at it right now. I believe there's only like 7 or 8 marches left in middle with 3 minutes left. And if you can rotate in, you might catch them off guard.
Yeah, this might be a distraction play. PX34 went really heavy on these structures, but I'm not seeing a whole lot of reinforcements behind the push, which to me means they're throwing it out there, pulling those JST marches to the outside lanes. There's a woo in this Sky Altar on the bottom lane for JST right now, and a heavy swarm from PX34. It may actually go down a little bit, but there's plenty of JST there to reinforce. Middle lane on the Shrine of War looks pretty decent, but this Desert Altar on the top lane for JST is looking very precarious, heavily being swarmed down by PX34. In fact, there it goes down. That is now red. The middle looks so wide open. There's maybe, 15 marches, and now here comes PX34. I see a few marches kind of trickling into the middle here, especially from the top lane, coming in to try and ninja this. This could be a huge play for PX34.
And look at the top rotation. They're rotating. They took down that Desert Altar. With 40 seconds, it's going to be captured. And they're rotating over the top with these marches that just finished swarming that Desert Altar. So the numbers are coming in, and you're seeing JST pull back from the middle to come and counteract that. So it is they definitely are going to give them a little run for their money. They are pushing over the top this time, though. So we're going to keep our eyes on the middle. The arc is spawning in 1 minute. PX34 collapsing from both sides, coming from top. And you are seeing them starting to flood with these marches that are now fresh from after all those swarms and coming back to their city. So I'm pretty confident we're going to have a very late battle coming through as the collapse is coming in on the side of PX34.
Yeah, I don't know if this worked out exactly the way that PX34 envisioned. They are fighting here just south of the temple. I think a big problem that I'm seeing on the PX34 side is their army composition for a play like this. You need maximum mobility, which usually means heavy cav, and speedy marches like an Ethelfled, maybe an Ethelfled Trajan or something like that to give you your buffs and debuffs. But I'm just seeing so many archers and so many infantry. It's just taking them a long time to get to the middle to actually execute. And with 5 seconds until this arc spawns, these marches are just now arriving.
And look at the colors. Look at the colors. Look how many red to blue you see in the middle. The collapse from top side on both sides, collapsing into the middle. The arc has spawned. JST is running for their life. I assume they're going to run it to the bottom side because that is where their forces are coming from. But the collapse is coming in on the side of PX34. I would have loved to see some sort of speed skill used there, if possible, or a bog down to hopefully help them out a little bit. I think they're probably going to pop a skill here, and the arc has been dropped as soon as they get together. And there it is. There's war drums being popped right there. And I'm assuming there will be one from JST coming in a hot second.
Wow, this is shaping up to be a very interesting middle fight. I will say, though, JST really starting to put the screws on this pincer maneuver that PX34 tried to pull off. This is properly manned by a double C primary, pulling that arc farther and farther back towards the JST side. However, there is a hero Saladin trying to take that thing down and doing a pretty good job of staying alive while also trying to kill that double C. More PX34 coming in. However, again, here we go. Now PX34 seeing where it's going, trying to take this Shrine of War. JST seeing that they need to reinforce to hold. Now PX34 peeling off to try and slow the movement of that arc carrier for JST. But I think there's just too many blue team members here for JST versus the PX34 really trying to play catch up here. The pincer maneuver didn't work exactly the way I think they planned. And then again, I think a part of that was on the back end of this maneuver that they were trying to pull. They lost a few buildings that kept some of the people that were supposed to come to the middle defending structures, especially the Desert Altar and the Shrine of Life on the bottom lanes, and that kept those marches that would normally be going to the middle to swarm those back down because they did lose both of those structures during the middle fight.
Yeah, and I agree. They gave up mobility with the thought behind countering what they knew JST were going to send to middle. So they came in a little slower. They got caught off guard. I did like the idea of it, but because of how long it took them to get to middle, it actually hurt them. And right now you're seeing them trying to run for dear life through the middle. But when you're running Guans and you're running the slower version of your archers, slower combos, you are going to be lagging behind. If these marches can get there, it's going to be very interesting to see if they're going to be able to pull it, because JST are going to have to dedicate some assets. Insatiable Desire getting popped right there.
Or PX34.
And that's one of the skills that they utilize as well, quite a bit. So they know that they're going to have to provision in order to keep this really, really top notch. We are seeing JST up by a little under 3K right now, and the points per minute is just almost double in favor of JST. So this arc is going to be worth quite a bit more than what you're seeing.
Yeah, with the top altar, this top sky altar there for PX34 going down in favor of JST, and then the sky altar on the bottom lane getting held very, very well by JST against a very strong push from PX34. That really tells the tale on the points per minute. 740 points per minute for JST, only 440 for PX34. That's their hallmark. JST continually throughout the match just having anywhere between 1 and 300 points per minute more every single minute of the match. And then, oh yeah, by the way, taking at least one, if not two, of the middle arcs as well. That's just a recipe for success, and they execute it so well. PX34 trying a nice little nifty pincer / distraction move, doing the hard push, doing a heavy push on the altar on the bottom lane, the sky altar on the bottom lane, the Shrine of War on the bottom lane, the desert altar on the top lane, and the Shrine of Life on the top lane, and coming out with a couple of the buildings, at least for a little bit, really distracting JST and trying to get them off their game, but JST solid enough to position correctly and stay near enough the middle to go ahead and have their position troops available for the final showdown. And that's where JST started to take out all those infantry and archer marches that PX34 were bringing to the middle.
Yeah, and just like that, we're seeing heavy, heavy pressure coming on the bottom side. That Desert Altar just flipping over to JST. We got a Guan Garrison in there, rip. And then I'm seeing some different combos. I'm seeing a Mina primary with Nevsky secondary.
I love that combo.
Yeah.
I love it.
You love it?
I love
it.
it.
Man. So we're going to see. I really do love that both of these teams are not holding this arc. We are going to constantly see more and more rotations to middle. The next arc is going to be huge because I suspect this is where we're going to see To the Death. We're also going to see Heaven's Grace. We're going to see, and then we're going to find out exactly who's going to be holding the cards towards the end, because that arc's going to be worth 4,000 points. And if you are PX, you 100% need it to stay in the game, because right now they are down 7K.
Wow. Yeah, they did capture it so quick. JST feeling pretty confident. In fact, so confident they're already going to the middle with 7 minutes until the arc spawns. I see at least 3 or 4 marches, 5 marches coming in. Now coming back saying, oh, wait, that's supposed to be blue. That's Shrine of War, but now it is red, and it's got a Trajan garrison, so probably not the best garrison. We can probably just swarm that down really quick, then go to the middle. Got plenty of time. However, having 3 of the 4 altars does help. Taking that altar back again on the bottom side, the Desert Altar, is JST. Now it looks like it's going to go down again for PX34, but who cares? That's points not getting generated for the red team. That's a victory for JST every single time that happens. And with the Shrine of War being red currently, YSS primary garrison, not anything to sneeze at. There is enough there, hopefully, for JST, if you're a JST fan, to take it and grab that structure back. And then you're looking at, again, the buildings being reset. The Desert Altar on the top lane looks very secure, with more and more PX34 pouring onto it, though. Heavy swarm with rally going on for PX34, but very well garrisoned is that JST Desert Altar on the top lane, so that likely will stay blue. And with 5 minutes and 40 seconds left, everything is the color that it should be, but the points per minute is a little bit different. Again, just like I said, 200 points per minute delta in favor of JST. That's just their standard hallmark. Let's just have more points generating for us, and let's win a couple mid fights.
And now what's interesting, and I know when we cast other matches, we always chat about the amount of rallies that are on structures right now. And I'm not sure if that's, I really do feel like that's in benefit to JST, that PX aren't launching as many rallies on all these structures. I'm not sure why, but the amount of flip-flop on these structures, we're seeing all the altars getting attacked right now with 5 minutes left before the arc's going to rotate. JST are already rotating like clockwork at 5 minutes. Seeing them rotate from top, from bottom. The numbers, the sheer numbers that are rotating in middle right now on the side of JST, you're getting ready for a big, big brawl in the middle.
And they're pushing back those PX34 marches that came to the middle.
Mhm.
Like, this is
Yep.
probably not the best spot for me.
Yeah, I'm looking around and it just nowhere in sight. JST have gone full send into the middle. I'm sure we're gonna see a couple of YSG incense emojis getting popped here in a hot second. These altars are getting swarmed, but the PX marches are going down. But we should see this points per minute stabilize, and it has gone slightly in favor of PX34 now. Now that those altars have been occupied, so we are going to see how much they're going to invest in this middle, because this arc, they do, I will say this next arc is going to be huge for either a momentum swing or potentially keeping you in the match, because right now they are down still 7K and JST are so far pushed up. It's going to be very interesting to see how this middle brawl goes.
Man, I'm telling you, there's so many JST in the middle there. It's absolutely crazy to watch. You've got rallies still going on the PX34 side. That XY is getting swarmed down. PX34 really just giving everything they can to try and take these buildings, and what a great defense. I mean, I know how hard it is to keep these structures against a sustained heavy push from a solid team. I mean, it's just so incredible to see a garrison hold up like that whenever it's just been consistently swarmed the whole time, with a rally, without a rally, and right now there's a rally on this Desert Altar top lane. Jadwiga Garrison is just proving to be so tanky, continuing to beat Harold Pakal for PX34. And again, the benefit of Jadwiga, not only is it super tanky and super damage dealing, but the reinforcements can be Cav, and Cav are very fast, as we all know. So easily reinforced with more and more Cav. You can throw a double C on the front of that. You can throw a bunch of different mobility commanders on the front of those marches that are reinforcing, and get those marches there so quick. The Sky Altar, however, on the other hand, going down for PX34. JST trying to swarm that thing back down, and looks like they're probably going to do that with more and more PX34 coming in, though. So it could be a little contentious. However, the middle is something that's not really that contentious right now, although there's a nice little contingent of PX34 kind of squeaking in on the bottom lane gear. Let's see how that goes.
They're working on the aggression for JST. JST got sucked out to that top side on their opponents, and you're seeing them now retreat back to the middle because a nice little ball from PX came in. And nothing to be scared of, but you definitely have to, approach it. And you are seeing JST pull back now, which is the smart play. PX should push as they're retreating. And we got a minute 45 before this arc spawns. We got PX getting positioned on both sides of this blue train, and they might get caught out getting separated between the two. So this is going to be very interesting.
I mean, there is a lot of PX34 coming from the top lane here, a lot of PX34, but again, they've got to go through the buzzsaw of JST on the way, and JST is already just absolutely surrounding this Ark of Osiris spawn point at the temple. We've got red team everywhere, blue team consolidating together. That usually is a recipe for disaster for the team that is not consolidated. These AoEs cause so much extra damage. This could be a huge shift point to where this could be the nail in the coffin. 22 minutes left. I mean, there's still plenty of match to play, but you've got just devastating middle fights here in favor of JST. 1 minute, about 45 seconds left until this arc spawns. PX34 pushing more and more in. They know they need this arc.
And you're seeing them kind of ball up right now. I don't believe I've seen any skill. Well, there is a skill that got
War
popped for
drums.
PX. Was it War Drums? Okay.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if we're going to see Insatiable Desire. It may get popped. If it does get popped, it will get utilized here in a couple of seconds. But I don't think they have the numbers, so popping that skill right now just might not benefit them as much. But I am seeing more and more marches getting poured in. The Arc has so many sad faces going on the side of PX right now. This blue ball is just wrecking havoc, and with 7 seconds left, the Arc is about to spawn.
Yep, 2-1 and 0. Arc is up, and it is surrounded by blue marches. And again, PX34 doing everything they can to desperately get to the middle there. This Arc is about to pop here shortly with 1 second. Boom, there you go. There's the Arc carrier, the Luca with the double C primary. He is bolting in a quick way. There is nobody sitting there. There's a Nevsky sitting there from Lily So, trying to grab that Arc Carrier's momentum back, try and slow it down a little bit. There's also a Guan Alex, like we highlighted at the very beginning of this, from Orange, trying to take that down too. And that's a great march, by the way, against the double C primary. The damage is just incredible with the damage modifier that the Arc provides and the fact that it's infantry versus cab, and it can fairly keep up with a double C Guan being very, very speedy as well. So, and Alex also having those extra march speed bonuses. There is more PX34 coming in. JST really kind of just saying, yeah, we got this. They're rolling out. And PX34 taking a little bit of advantage and trying to come into the middle through that middle area to grab this. And I don't know if JST is peeling off a little too soon. They do have some reinforcements coming in from the temple area, but that was pretty ballsy. I'm not gonna lie. They're like, yeah, we got it. We're gonna go to the sides now.
And see, and that's where I really feel like, you know, JST, these top tier teams really shine. Is there is zero hesitation when a call is made. A call is made. If the Arc Carrier is gonna get you know, taken down, guess what? They already know the call out. These guys were supposed to escort. You're gonna see 7-8 marches that are then going to appear, and then no, there's zero hesitation. So people will keep rotating out to these sides because right now all these altars on the side of JST are under attack.
Yeah, sure are, and I'm still watching in the actual game, JST continuing to move that march back with the Arc, but I wanted to highlight, there's a lot of folks in the chat that did want to see some of the other scores. Temple Run currently up against Blackpink, 23.6k to 16.5k. We also have Peak with a very slight lead against 84DL, only 2,000 point delta in favor of Peak. We've got BG, and again, Na'Vi, 2,000 point delta in favor of BG. JST, of course, is the match that we're winning right now. 6,000 point, almost 7,000 point favorite currently. And then 1V absolutely decimating 44E. It's a 13,000 point game already. Same thing for 88LV, absolutely destroying 412A, 22.3k to 16.3k. That's another 6,000 point match. And then Blackjack is destroying 1008, 24.5k to 14.7k. Anubis also has some matches going. V636 in a decently close match, 4,500 points against Samurai WSA. We've got Wib defeating H593 currently by about 4,000 points, although that is very close with 18 minutes left in these matches. Camo World CMC taking out 800F, a 7,000, almost 8,000 point match there in favor of CMC. We've got 671K who defeated PX34, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Also taking on, I'm sorry, not PX34. It was another big team. Taking a huge lead against KM43. We also have 60MX putting the screws to DN1. DN1 having 4.6 billion power, 60MX, 4 billion power, and it's a 15,000 point match in favor of 60MX. So something to just kind of pay attention to as we get back into the live game. That Arc is still in JST's hands, and it is still being attacked, but it's looking like it is going to be captured for JST. There's just so many troops just sitting there.
Yeah, and the Arc was, it's slowly getting moved. It's very interesting that they are going to be taking it to their obelisk zone. So I have a feeling that they
may
are
hold this one.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident they're going to hold this one because this Arc will be worth 4,000 points. It will put them in the lead by about 10k. Which, you know, it is very hard to make up solely occupation. Now, do keep in mind, PX, we're utilizing that provision skill. So we are going to have to keep an eye on their ability to do that. All these structures are blinking right now. We got 16 minutes left. If they can take some of these structures over, hold the points per minute, bring them in, send a couple more provisioners out. This could be a lot closer than what we think. It's going to be. So we're definitely going to keep our eyes out for that.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the Sky Author for the top lane here that's supposed to be red is still blue. It is ticking points for JST, which is exactly what PX34 does not want to see. They need to make up points in any way, shape, or form that they can. And right now they're down by 230 points per minute against JST, and this is not helping. Now, they did take the Shrine of Life on the bottom lane as well from PX34. That's also another thing that's not ticking points. But PX34 answering with the Shrine of War take on the middle lane for the bottom lane there, and has a decent number of folks here sitting here. I mean, this arc is close-ish to that. I mean, we have a lot of folks just kind of sitting here at the moment, though, for PX34 instead of pursuing that arc carrier. That arc carrier may capture that a little bit quicker than they may be anticipated, considering there is a point where PX34 could grab it and take it back to that Shrine of War, and it's close enough. Ooh, this could be interesting, a little more interesting than maybe they thought.
Yeah, and right now we're just seeing, PX do what they need to do. You're seeing structures blinking all over the place. They are taking some of the JST in an effort to kind of neutralize this arc as much as possible, without being able to actually capture it yourself. You already know the provision game is going to be coming strong. So, this is definitely the play that you want to see. These shrines blinking, the altars getting taken from the top side, so now in favor of PX. Not quite sure. Well, it hasn't ticked over yet, but they are going to be working on this altar on the top side as well, trying to take that back.
The PX34 need to come grab this arc. They've got they've got a garrison, a proper garrison in that structure. They need to come take this arc and grab it. I mean, they could do it. They just need to grab the arc. Right now, the arc carrier is blue, and he is moving towards some. I mean, I would capture the crap out of that arc right now. This could be bad. If PX34 can actually get together and go grab that arc, they have that Shrine of War sitting there waiting. If I was JST, I'd capture that. I mean, that's risky. That is very risky to just sit there with that arc, even with the just 2 marches there.
I think they're just not worried because those are red marches, so they already know once they pick up this arc, they're toast. So you're seeing hard push. They're flipping it over. The altars did get flipped on the side of JST, but you should see them flip fairly quickly back in favor of PX. They do have a Zenobia garrison on the side of JST on this bottom side desert.
PX34 has it right now.
Yeah.
Going the wrong way, though. Where are you going, dude?
Where are you going?
Why are you going the other way? Oh, my goodness. Okay, so again, PX34 not able to come over here and pressure this arc. In fact, just really helping JST hold it more and delay the timer. So now, because they picked it up, it's now reset. So now it's 15 minutes until the arc despawns, and it's only a 13-minute game. So they could effectively hold this until the very end now, and it's GG for that. I mean, PX34 needs this arc. I'm really not quite sure why they're not putting more people over there from the Shrine of War area. They just need to migrate it over there and get it rolling. I mean, I know that they've lost all their buildings, Desert Altar and Sky Altar for PX34 down for JST's side now, and they are generating points as well. I mean, points per minute, my goodness. It's got to be insane. 660 versus 370. It could be even worse here shortly, I think. This bottom, no, they're all ticking. That's interesting. Okay, so they lost their Desert Altar on the top lane, did JST. That's why it doesn't have the points generating. Wow. Oh, is that a... No, it's not. It's not Julius Caesar Garrison, right? Is that Julius Freddy Garrison? No, it wasn't. That was a reinforcing march. Julius Freddy, doing the reinforcement dance.
Got a little nervous there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, y'all don't know because we were chatting about museums and Freddy.
Yeah.
And, oh man, that was too funny. But we are seeing the structures flip more in favor on the side of JST. They are pushing up, making the pressure is real right now. So like Drago was saying, they do not need to capture this after it ticks 1 second over the 8-minute mark left in the match. There will no longer be another arc that will spawn, so you should see it get captured around that time in about 3-4 minutes. And until then, JST are just going to full send into all these structures. They are all flipping blue right now, and it's looking pretty tough and a little rough in the streets.
Shrine of War is still under PX34 control. So this is a 4,000 point arc. So that would put them at 26.6, which is still 4,000 points less than JST. They would have to really, I mean, and they did use Insatiable Desire a couple times. They would really have to out-provision JST, and I know JST usually sits around 9K or so on the provisioning point total towards the end of the match. Wow, they're just kind of letting PX34 have it, and instead just taking their Desert Altar and keeping it, offsetting any point differential that they would have had they not done so. 740 versus 440 on the points per minute. I mean, it doesn't matter which structures make that number, as long as your number's bigger, it's looking good for you, right? And this arc's just kind of sitting here camping out. They can just cap it whenever they want. They don't even have to cap it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I think JST are playing the numbers game. You know, it's
Yep.
smart. You want our shrine? Cool, we'll take your altar. And that is by far not even an even trade. So you definitely
Not even close.
not even close. So on the side of JST, there, you know, yes, the shrine is important when it comes to, you know, additional buffs, stuff like that. But if you're not going to have a clash in the middle, which I believe Heaven's Grace didn't even get popped, Insatiable Desire coming again, JST with hard push. So that right there is very surprising because of the awkward timing in middle. PX didn't even get to utilize the big skill. We didn't see to the death. We didn't see all those.
Anything.
We didn't see anything, and it's just due to just bad timing. You know, they were constantly having to run to middle. They could never ball up, so that, you know, that played a big role, I think, in those second and third arcs. So right now we're watching the structures. They are flipping them, and these altars are under attack. But with 9 minutes left, you needing to make up what 9K point lead.
Yeah, it's about to be
I hope
10K.
I hope your provisions are doing work.
Even with the arc, I mean, that's 6,000 point lead. I mean, there's now that they've lost the Shrine of War, PX34 is now attacking the arc carrier on the JST side, and you know, maybe just looking for some complacency from the JST side and letting them grab it and roll. That being said, they went ahead and capped it, so 36,645 versus 23,499 for PX34. That was definitely the nail in the coffin. 13,000 point lead in favor of JST. Two teams, prior champions, battling it out, and I mean, just showcasing what you can do, just using different ways of trying to accomplish it. And I think PX34, Bulbo, when we were looking at what they were doing and how they were performing, I think they did a lot better than some maybe gave them credit for, especially at the very beginning. PX34 having lost one match already in this season 5 Osiris League playoffs, whereas JST is undefeated all the way to this point and looks to be moving forward to the next round. But PX34 held their own, especially at the very beginning, and then once that second arc came up and JST said, no, you got the first one, okay? The second one going forward, though, that's kind of where we want to keep those. So JST really holding on to those middle arcs and using those on the back of continuing to take the structures is really where this delta has been created.
Yeah, and that's very interesting. You know, the first one, they looked super strong in middle. Their march composition was really strong against JST, and then we saw the awkward timing between the second rotation, third rotation, where they just could never get together in order to utilize skills and pop, and it just threw all their timing off. And just due to the sheer numbers of JST, you know, it all kind of crumbled from there. So it's going to be very interesting because I am looking right now. Peak are up by 6K against 84DL. The winner of that will be playing the winner of this match next week.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm cycling around to the different structures here. I mean, again, this is kind of a foregone conclusion for a JST victory, but looking at some of the fighting on the open field, just trying to continue. There's an Alex Tommy, which I personally love. That's a march that I advocate for on my channel. Alex Tommy from John Doe and JST, tanky, speedy, debuffy, all the things that you like to see in a march. So I mean, I love that march combo. It might look a little weird to some folks, but that works out really well on the field. Charles is another replacement for Alex that you could do that with, although I like Alex a little better than Charles. But you see your standards, right? I see a lot of Artemisia. A lot less Artemisia than I am used to, though. But I think that's really more to do with all the latest commanders that have come out, right? You got your Hondas, you got certainly your Nevsky, your Bertrand that people are trying out. Nebu YSG is the gold standard. Ramses YSG gold standard. You always see your Guans out there with all the AoE damage and AoE silence that he provides. Saladin, XY, William, Ethelfled, Trajan. You only have 5 marches, right?
Yeah, and right now I'm looking. There's a couple of potential upsets already coming in.
I see it.
Oh no! And man, it's hey, it's top 16. You know, it's anybody can win. You know, and that's where this league. You know, it comes down to top 16. It's who's the best, and right now we're about to find out as we wrap around with about what, 6 minutes left in the match. And JST are firmly in the driver's seat on this match.
Yep, got 5 minutes 30 seconds left. There will be no more arcs in this match. The map is basically turning blue now because JST doesn't have to work at the middle. There is no rotation, and in fact, Obelisk is taken on the bottom lane, and there are port-ins from JST. Is it 0 time? Not that it really matters, but looks like it is. The swarm is beginning. Oh, and a spot opening up for another JST member right there. Oh my goodness, there's some juice here to maybe cause some damage. A lot of 70 million, 80 million cities here for PX34, looking so juicy for JST to go up against. That YSS is looking a little suspect against these swarming XY and Guan marches. Oh my.
And just to keep y'all updated, because I know we're all betting people, and I'm checking out the largest odds that were this weekend, and we all know that was the NCA match.
Yeah,
and
I'm staring at it too.
They have the arc running it to the obelisk. They are down by 4K. The
3K now.
3K. Even with this capture, it's going to bring them super close. It's going to possibly come down to some provisions with 4 minutes left. So let's all keep our fingers crossed. But as we kind of wrap into this match, wrap through with the JST PX34 match, what do you think that Nevsky played a bigger role, or not as big of a role as what you thought it would be?
You know, I saw Nevsky's on both sides, so I don't think they necessarily played a bigger. And in fact, I mean, the rallies that I saw coming from PX34 were mostly Harold Pakals. Not a whole lot of Nevsky rallies coming from PX34. Alternatively, JST had mostly XY Nevsky rallies coming from their team. So whether that was ability for PX34 to max Nevsky for this match, I don't think that any of those players would have not done that for the team, right? I mean, these are all very sizable players that spend into the game, and they have the ability, or they should have the ability, to go ahead and max that commander. But JST absolutely, Sun Tzu getting wrecked. Biscuit Kruger getting wrecked by a swarm from Peroro here. This is devastating to watch. Oh my goodness. I mean, PX34 porting out, getting out of there. At least the obelisk is taken back in favor of PX34 so that they can't port more in. With 3 minutes left, if they do take it, there could be, if they want to hit hard push really quick, they could have a minute or two to port another march or another city or two in here to cause a little more devastation. But there's enough here to cause the damage. I mean, everything's on fire now. That guy's almost zeroed. Here comes the Monotori from Lily Solo, or Zoe, trying to hold strong and doing a pretty good job, to be honest with you. But against the swarm, that archer garrison is not usually the bestest to do. Oh my goodness, it's tied. 3-7 IA is tied against NCA, exclamation point.
With 2.5 minutes left, and they are now up by 300 points. 300 points. The swarm on these structures is, and there you go. There's altar. Oh my goodness, they needed that so bad.
I'm seeing a 400 point victory for Supreme Twitter right now. Am I behind?
I'm seeing 2 minutes left on 2 minutes left on that match on my screen. Am I wrong?
Oh, you're good. I'm looking at the watch screen. I'm not able to jump in since I'm casting to these fine people. But I think we're all just, on the edge of our seats. I think we're just watching cities getting zeroed on the stream, and we're talking about other matches that are coming down to the last second. I'm seeing a winning total for 3-7 IA right now. I may be behind or I may be ahead. I'm not sure, but with a minute and 30 seconds left, NCA needs to find some freaking provisions so they can win for the coins.
Yes.
I'm
just a man with a dream.
Yeah, man with a dream to have 50,000 coins come into his pocket. And the devastation on the screen in front of you, PX34 taking their obelisk back at least, so that will deny JST from being able to port more cities in, but the damage is already done. There's 4 cities ported in right now, and they are just sitting here swarming these poor souls from PX34. They're just porting out at this point. They've got 4 teleports available. They can just really kind of clear this area. But Zenobia is going down. Oh, PX34 with the Swift Stride being used. Where was that used? I don't see the actual icon on the map.
They're running
that's
on
a
the
full
arc.
map. That's a full map.
They're using it on the arc runner right now. That's what they're using right now. And
No,
he's gonna
20
be, he's gonna be,
seconds.
yeah, 20 seconds behind. But they did pop it. They did
JST
pop it.
also popping through the slide. Oh no.
I wonder if this would be the play. It looks like he's trying to run it to the outpost. I almost kind of wish it would have. Well, no, because he definitely would have gotten dinged right there by the shrine. Yeah.
10 seconds left. Mystical formation being popped. Or that guy just moved just over to the side a
Just
little bit.
over a tap. So he
4 seconds left. He's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm in safety now. There's the match. There it goes. Defeat for PX34. JST coming out with the victory. Pororo, most valuable player with 247,000 points. Big Daddy Mehmed on the screen. Wow, look at the total kills there, Bulba.
No,
big difference.
Once you there's something else on that screen that oh Lord.
Yeah, the heals. The heals are substantial.
Almost 40 million heals on the side of PX34. Oh my goodness, that
provision's low.
Yeah, the provisions were decently low. They were fairly even, all things considering that PX popped Insatiable Desire as many times as they did. And they actually lost the provision game against JST. So, maybe JST's counteract. I wish I would have paid attention to how much. I did look at PX because of their Insatiable Desire, and they were only provisioning with 1 provisioner. So,
solid performance for 1 provisioner.
Yeah. And so it's very impressive. The teleports, of course, but those units healed, it just tells a story in itself. So yeah, kudos, GGs to both these teams.
Yeah, congratulations to JST for winning here. They move on to the next round. PX34 is eliminated again, prior champion of the Osiris League playoff system. I think I agree with what you're saying. Units healed. They wanted it. It's not like they didn't want it. They spent what they needed to spend healing speed up wise to get the job done. Just couldn't execute on the total kills piece. That's almost 20 million kills more than PX34 for JST, and provisions being equal. I think that really goes to show why there was a 10,000 point gap for the occupation score. Let's jump out of here and go back into the system here. Quite a few matches that a lot of people want to see the results for. Temple Run defeating Blackpink. We have Peak edging out 84 DL, making it a solid match. BG also edging out Na'Vi to take the victory. BG's really turned into a solid team. They've always been really solid, but really turned into a quality endgame playoff team. JST again defeating PX34, the one that we just watched. 1v, even bigger of a decimation from their score, defeating 44E. 88 LV, doubling up almost. 412A Hawks. 412 is out of the playoffs there. 1021 defeating Boobs Lifestyle. We knew that Blackjack was solid, but Boobs has been solid too, and almost defeating OV, by the way, a week ago. So that's very strong performance by Blackjack. I'm looking forward to seeing Blackjack possibly take on OV at some point as well. JST will obviously have the chance to do so as well at some point, hopefully, that we get to be blessed that with our eyes.
Now, I will say with BG, they were down that was the match that I was talking about. They were down by 3K points when I was calling for that upset on the stream, and they brought it back with an arc and then provisions at the very end to jack it up to 3K in that point. So they came from behind, captured, did some provisioning, and that's where it tells a story at the very end why provisions are so important.
Wow. Realm of Bastet with a little bit of an upset. DQ39 taking out QZQ. by looks like about 1,100 points. That was a big deal. And 06 HS High Hopes almost doubling up Dark Division 55 as well. Most of those matches in Realm of Bastet are 15 UTC. If we go to Sobek, though, just heartbreaking.
Oh my
NCA,
god.
from a coins perspective, heartbreaking. Losing to Supreme Order by 1,700 points. This was, a little bit heartbreaking. Hopefully, you guys had some hedge bets to offset possibly losing some coins on that. And RGP defeating Dark Knight Riders. DR34 continuing their spree towards the finals, defeating 47 IM, and then the Order 29 TO taking out BBC. That is an upset.
Yeah.
So kudos to the winners so far in the 13 UTC hour. Looking forward, let's go ahead and go back to the co-caster cam here and put my face back up there as we have the. There we go. Okay, here we go. So I'm still up there. Good fights to everybody. Bulba's here beside me. I'm gonna let him say his goodbyes in just a second. Huge shout out to all the teams that have played so far. I've enjoyed watching all of them come down to the wire. Looking forward to seeing you guys coming back here in an hour and 45 minutes or so.
45.
Yeah, I'll be back in 45 minutes, and it'll be Chiscool and myself after his victory while playing inside TR there. Bulba, take us away.
Man, I'm excited for the match that you and Chisco are gonna be casting. That you got OV versus Song. Oh
yeah.
my goodness,
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Woo! And then to top it off, then whoever wins that's playing man, you just can't script. You can't script it. So, I appreciate GG's to both teams. Thank you again for everybody who is hanging out with us. Make sure you drop a like on the stream if you haven't already. I always appreciate Drago, and I appreciate all the love y'all been showing the channel. And don't forget to subscribe to the official Rise of Kingdoms YouTube if you are looking for some more Osiris League content. We probably got some more stuff coming out for y'all. And thank you all again. We'll see y'all again next week.